Good evening. How you doing, buddy?
I heard you sit down and run into your chair.
You didn't think I'd make it. I needed my cup of coffee.
I had all faith in you.
I'm going to take a little sip right now just to perk me up here. Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah. Sure. I have a tea. So.
Oh, sweet coffee. It's probably going to kill me a little bit later, but delightful. Delightful. How was your weekend, buddy?
Oh, as I was kind of just talking earlier about, I had to fix some skylights and it was on the roof, so that's like real manual work that
I know. Both you and I were on roofs.
Ready for. So my whole hamstrings and butt and back are just dying.
Keep talking. Keep talking. It sounds exciting.
Yeah. So I know how to seal up a
skylight. Nice. Yeah, I was on my dad's roof too, checking it out because I got to redo his roof.
Yeah.
Along with my roof. Oh, it's like roofing season, I guess.
Yeah.
So if there's any fans out there who are watching Makeshift Mondays that are expert roofers in the Toronto area, feel free to give me a call.
They're good at it. Yeah, man. It's good though. I got to get done. I have a big list of stuff I want to do, and that's just another thing that had to get. It was leaking. So it was good. I felt like a man. Like I felt like I was doing something.
Well, sometimes it's actually. What I find is it's actually good. I love doing a lot of renovations and stuff like that because it gives you a sense of accomplishment right away. Because you're fixing it and it's done. It's right there. You see it.
I was like very meticulous about it. I did it properly. I overdid it. I'm like, okay, make sure I do this properly. Taped it all off and I painted all with liquid rubber and stuff. And I was like, okay.
Nice,
and I cleaned it up and I was like, took photos of it. Should have sent them to Rob to show just to bore the people watching.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know.
Man.
So, but how's everything on the art front for you?
You know what? I'm just getting back in the groove. I am working on Stillwater, the next issue right now. I'm putting Raid 4 design-wise to bed so we can actually have that done and ready for our Kickstarter, which I think we are delaying. We were originally we were planning to do it a little bit later in November. Oh, hello, Sarah.
Stillwater, what?
She's like, what? Hello. I think for the Raid 4 Kickstarter, we were originally planning to do it right after Sheldon's Kickstarter, but I think it's cutting it close to Christmas. We're all a little bit tired. We're fatigued. Yeah. So I think with the book being almost done and ready to go, it actually will be nice to let it breathe for a little bit, and then we can embark on the Kickstarter in the new year, a little bit more prepared and ready. Most likely a February one. So in the brisk cold winter of Canada, we will launch a nice fiery campaign for.
I think it's smart.
4. Yeah,
it's smart. It's a great looking book, and no use rushing it. And
exactly,
Christmas is coming. It's like
give
it take a break.
Give it the love it. Give it the love it deserves. Give ourselves a bit of a break. We've been hustling all year. It's been a crazy year here for all of us, not just at Raid, but just all the artists. Everybody it seems to just be never ending, right? So
that's good. That's what we wanted. So those are all positive complaints.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But
speaking of, I mentioned Sheldon's Kickstarter. His Kickstarter is still going on for To Steal the Sun.
Oh yeah.
It's our official second Kickstarter, our 4th or 5th book under the Raid Press banner. This is our first prose book, so it's 400 pages of a novel that Sheldon has been working, or as he likes to go down by S.M. Carter. He's been working on this for 5 years, and the quality and the dedication in the book shows. Like it's an amazing book. I know you've read it, I've read it, Rob's read it. We all dove in, and I'm excited to get this book into people's hands. It's got 10 days left on the campaign. You can get a hardcover, softcover, ebook, audio book. You could get the doorbell that just rang, all that stuff.
Maybe it's Sheldon at the door.
That was someone who was really excited for the book. They were just coming in here right now. So we're excited to have this campaign close next week, and then we'll be fulfilling that book in February of next year.
And I think today is the last day of the Dracula Visions. Was that today?
It might be, it could be.
I think I saw them posting. I've been retweeting and stuff, so that was exciting to work on too. We had a nice gallery show for that.
But, the gallery show is still going on here at Raid actually till mid-December, and their book is pretty awesome. There's a bunch of the Raiders in it, but there's so much great art from like Hoche Anderson to Adam Gorham, to all these guys. And the book is fabulous. They've been funded. They're just adding now nice embellishments to the book. I think I just dropped my hardcover art the other day.
Yeah,
so
that looks great, dude.
I hope that helps. It's a different approach. I went a bit more designy.
Yeah, but that's your style. You got a good knack for that, man. It's really cool.
But a lot of fun with that. So,
totally.
But enough talking.
Speaking of designy, I know this great guy.
Yeah. How long you know this great guy?
Oh, jeez, man! I met him back in '96.
Ooh.
And we got pretty tight once we started working together, and that was it. Just a good brother from a good soul. I love the man to pieces, so I was very happy to have him on here and talk with him. So
yeah, I've been a fan of his. Like his design sense is just impeccable.
Yeah.
Just amazing. I love the way his brain works. It's just amazing. So I'm really happy to have him on the show. Shall we bring him in?
Come on down, Mathew Den Boer.
Woo! Hey, buddy.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, buddy.
Not too bad.
Fellas. That guy. Big smile.
Excited to have you aboard, man.
Me too. I miss you guys. This is like
it's been
the
a long
closest
time.
thing to a hangout in a long time.
Yeah, I think it's been like a good couple of years since I've seen you, I think.
For sure.
I'm trying to remember. I remember like a vivid memory of you being at an event we were hosting.
Well, I popped by the studio a couple times here and there, but I haven't seen Vedder in
that's true.
2 years.
Too long, my friend. It was definitely a fan expo or something. It was the last time.
That's crazy.
Or maybe it was that cottage we went to.
Sarah's birthday.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Shout out to my wife, Sarah. Who's watching.
Bravo.
Sarah, miss you, Sarah.
Wicked. So, are you guys enjoying a drink after a long weekend, or are you guys just chilling?
Yes, I am.
Oh, nice.
I'm having... So, it's a haze... Look at that.
Ooh, what is that? What are you drinking?
Well, it's not orange juice.
No. Oh, it's a nice beer there. Is that a Bellwoods?
No, that's a good guess. This is the Bellwoods of Ayr. Ayr is a town. It's pretty close to Waterloo.
Okay, nice.
And this is like an MF Doom themed double IPA.
Nice.
Trooping off.
I like that.
You like that IPA stuff still, eh? Hello, Sarah.
Oh, I can't get off it.
Oh, Sarah's there. Oh, there you go. Colin's in the house too.
Well, cheers, Maddie. It's good to have you.
Let me pour mine. Hold on a second.
I just got a tea. I'm sorry, buddy. I just got a tea.
I just got some nice whiskey here. Let's do this.
I'm trying to dry out a little bit. October was a really liquid month.
I hear you, man. I can't come down on you for prioritizing your health.
Yeah.
Cheers.
For prioritizing your health. There you go.
Right, man. I might have high cholesterol. I gotta,
Cheers, man.
I'm like cutting out cheese
Welcome
and butter
aboard.
and shit. Running on the treadmill.
Oh, that's nice. Ooh, that's good.
What do you got there, Ramon?
I'm drinking a little small batch, some Japanese whiskey here.
Oh, I've heard good things.
Nika Small Barrel.
I love the Japanese whiskey.
Yeah, so this is, just picked this up, delightful. Nice caramelly flavor. Nice reward after a long ass day.
Do you like your scotches peaty, or do you like them more on like the honey lighter?
I'm more on the honey lighter. I do not. I can drink the peaty, but I'm not the biggest fan.
You're not hitting the Lagavulin?
No.
I like all that. That stuff's good.
I've had like a Delwini, or I'm trying to think of the other one. I was just at a Scottish pub the other day that a friend of mine owns, and she's probably got the largest assortment of whiskeys and scotches in Toronto at her place. It's just
what place is that?
Astounding. It's called the Caledonian on College Street.
Oh yeah, I think.
That rings a bell.
And just an amazing assortment. And she knows her stuff so well. So you just tell her what you like, and she'll bring back a nice little sampler or a flight or something like that. It's just wonderful.
I'm a big fan of mezcal. Like it's kind of tequila's.
Oh yeah. Actually, if you like mezcal, you should grab yourself a bottle of this.
I'm looking.
Perini or
right here. This is my favorite mezcal at the moment.
I love that bottle. I saw that actually at the LCBO.
Yeah, it is. Like I'm not a big some of them are too smoky, but this one's really sweet and smoky.
Oh, it's
awesome. It's really nice. So highly recommend it.
Yeah, I like it better than tequila, and I like tequila plenty. So.
Oh yeah, tequila's my go-to.
Oh, big fan of the tequila. What are you drawing there, Matt? Why don't you tell us a little bit about there?
Well, I'm drawing an alcoholic beverage, as it were.
A label?
It's funny. You guys introduced me as like a design person. I'm trying to copy you and draw characters.
Oh, this is what's his name? Lupin?
Yeah, Lupin the Third.
Nice.
I'm like addicted to the show. I watch it. It's very dated. But it makes me feel like a kid when I watch it. We've recently like put together a half exercise room in the basement. And there's a TV in front of the treadmill. Yeah. And that's what I watch when I'm running, and it makes the time just like fly by.
Nice. I just got commissioned to do what do you call it? A pinup of Lupin for anniversary edition.
Cool.
I think it's his 30th anniversary this year or something like that.
Something like that. Monkey Punch is the originating artist.
Oh, okay. I'm not too familiar. Like I know the stuff, but I'm not like super familiar. So,
I discovered it on Amazon Prime one day just randomly because I like the look of the art. Like they do a lot of really. It's funny because it's really in some ways like they're cutting a lot of corners with the animation, but they draw crazy detailed hands. They're obsessed with like hand hair. Like
that's awesome.
All the hands are huge and hairy and like knuckly, and it's really interesting where they put their emphasis.
There used to be I'm trying to remember what I used to watch. It was on like. Oh man, I was talking about it with somebody the other day. It was like a girl with like a black cape with a high collar, with a large brim hat.
That rings a bell.
Oh man,
what is that called? I think I know what you're talking about.
And it ran like I think it had like maybe 12 episodes or something like that. But I remember like they also had this weird like chunky rectangular arm hair. Which was fascinating me, and I just stole it for a bunch of my cartoon art at the time. I was so inspired by it.
This show is it's a serialized, like it's like Inspector Gadget.
Oh yeah, nice.
Every week they go the investigator Zenigata, who's always trying to catch Lupin. He's like, "I'll catch you next week."
That's awesome.
Kalman says Cyber 6.
Cyber 6 is correct. That is the one.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I didn't watch a ton of that.
50th anniversary. No
That's
way.
Great art. I love that art. That's great.
Oh, I know. It's so good.
The flare of the brush there in the face and stuff like that. Oh, it's wonderful.
Fantastic.
I think there's a 3D, like a CG version of it too, which is really strange to think about, but it's fairly recent. And I gotta look into it. I just found out about it tonight.
Nice. I gotta check that out.
So I'm working in I don't know, what are you guys working in? I'm working in Illustrator for iPad here.
Oh, how do you find that actually?
I mean, I'm a vector guy, so for me it's there's a lot of cheating involved, but it helps.
I mean, I use a lot of vector stuff for my like books and logos. I've done some art in it over the years, but I always find I'm like drawing and then vectorizing my line work for art to kind of give it more solidity when I use Illustrator. But I'm in Clip Studio right now.
I'm in Photoshop right now, just kind of dicking around here trying to get this. I'm designing a card for the Steal the Sun stuff, so just kind of working on some ideas here. I got this crazy lady here, one of Sheldon's characters. So
I love how you guys all support one another.
Yeah, man. We got to, man.
Community.
Agreed. When are you gonna do your comic? Remember we talked about
comic
ideas, your world, your animal design worlds and stuff.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I think never, probably, actually.
I'm curious about this. I've never heard about this.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably never. I think it's never for me with comics, but I'm still interested in doing animated. There it is. Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
So.
English trailer, English dub.
Don't mess with the English dub.
Right.
If you do watch the show.
Actually, out of trailers, have any of you seen and what do you think of it if you have, or what do you think about the idea? But the trailer, I think it dropped a couple weeks ago, the full trailer for the Cowboy Bebop Netflix series live action.
I've not watched the trailer.
I don't know. It feels very different.
I'm leery because that's such a cool franchise.
I know, right?
And I worry about what they're going to do with it.
I'm the same, and it's funny because I watched the trailer and it just looked awkward. Something like if none of them talked, it seemed like it would have been nicely done. Like the visuals are like kind of bang on for the characters, the ships, all that stuff, but the characters just felt kind of stiff and like kind of like cardboard like almost to me, and I was it got me worried. I'll be honest.
I think it's got a lot of people worried. That it's always tough when you're trying to translate a beloved piece of storytelling from one medium to another.
Yeah.
I think for a long time they were talking about doing like a live action Akira, or they did do one.
I think it's still in the works.
That's been about what 25 years. That's been in the works.
Yeah,
That's
it's
insane.
been in the works forever.
I don't know if I want to see it or don't want to see it. It really depends.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm such a fan of the original. It's hard to.
Yeah, I don't think I want to. Like.
Yeah, maybe better not.
Like, it's like why? Like, because the cool thing about the animated version and the book is that the creator was involved in both, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Heavily.
And yeah, exactly. And he wouldn't be in this. It would be completely somebody else's interpretation of his work.
Yeah.
And like I'm not sure how you guys felt about the Ghost in the Shell.
Not so good.
That is a treasured franchise to me. I collect a lot of Ghost in the Shell, and when I saw, like, I love ScarJo. Don't get me wrong. I was like, oh well, she kind of works, but it's not.
They actually just changed this. I don't know. How are you guys at spoilers on this program? I feel like they just changed the story, so in a very fundamental way, with Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they changed something really core to the meaning of the story in terms of, I don't know. That's how I felt of it anyway.
Oh, okay.
I took one of our kids to see it, and he fell asleep.
What do we got here? Rum Hour has it. I'm showing.
Rum Hour has it.
Rum, yes, please.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Taika Waititi. I don't know if the more I see him do stuff, I sometimes wonder if he's.
I'm experiencing Taika Waititi burnout.
Yeah, like I like a lot of his stuff, but lately I'm kind of like, I'm kind of having enough of you for a little bit.
Yeah, you again? You again?
And I feel like he's like, I think he was quoted once as saying, he's like, I'm here to ruin your franchise or something like that.
Maybe he wasn't joking.
Maybe, I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, having said that, I've liked pretty much everything of his that I've seen.
For the most part, yeah, same. But it's almost like I'm like, God, you're everywhere. Like,
yeah,
you can't,
a little too much.
And when you're everywhere that much, I feel like you're spreading yourself thin, and then that's when mistakes start to happen. I don't know. I could be wrong. Prove me wrong, Taiko. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Well, Akira is one of the few comics that I really kept up with, like as a kid, or not a kid, I guess, like a teenager, that I collected Akira obsessively. And then I was I think I was 13 or 14, and I was at a animation anthology kind of thing at a theater. I think it was like at one of the downtown rep theaters, like the Royal or something. And the lights went out, like to start this, it was a collection of different animators, and
okay.
And the screen went black, and then the words "Neo Tokyo is about to explode" came up on the screen, and I had no idea that they were like making Akira into a movie.
Oh.
And it was an almost fatal level of excitement that I experienced in that moment. I couldn't believe it. And then the movie delivered. I mean, they truncated the plot heavily. That was, I think, necessary to do that, but still amazing.
But he also did that movie before he was done the book.
Right. Yeah, and he oversaw the whole thing.
Exactly.
And I remember renting that because I was like, I'm going to check out this anime stuff. I'm going to rent Akira. People keep talking about Akira. Man, that was it. I was like, holy shit. Then I saw Ghost in the Shell, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Damn.
But then you saw Evangelion, and then you saw Gurren Lagann, and I saw Gurren Lagann.
It's so good.
You lent it to me. I had to give I don't know, did I ever tell you this, Eric? After I watched that, like 2 weeks before, I had to give a talk.
We talked about that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I had to give a talk at
Spiral.
This thing called Trampoline Hall, where the theme, you have to give a talk on a subject matter that you're not an expert in.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I of course I took it seriously, and I did symmetry, and I was all earnest about it. I did a bunch of research, and most people who actually did this thing, they kind of went with a kind of a comedic tone, and I didn't realize that was the convention. So I got up there all professorial with my models and everything, but because I had watched Gurren Lagann for the preceding 2 weeks and basically put off all the jobs that I had just to go to the office and watch the show that Eric lent me, I felt imbued with courage from that show, and I went out there and I had no nerves at all. Maybe 30 seconds at the beginning, but it was awesome. I kind of owe that to you, Eric.
Oh man, I remember we'd have talks about that, and I was like, you gotta watch it. You have to watch it.
I did have to watch it.
So where did you guys meet? Was it school, elsewhere, job?
Yeah, I mean, I knew Matt loosely from Sheridan Animation days. He was a year ahead of me, and the third years were always like the cool kids in the school. You're like, oh my god, it's the third years, because like animation at the time was brutal. If you got past second year and you're in the third year, you're kind of like a bit of a celebrity. You're like, you made it. You made the cut. Yeah. So he was a bit, and it's like, oh, cool. And I didn't really know him, but I was like, oh, yeah, kind of scared me a little bit. I was like, oh, I don't know about this guy. And then,
I cut that imposing 5'7" figure. It's hard to
well, you cut with those eyes. Those eyes fell off. And then we both started working at Whack Animation in good old St. Catharines, Ontario.
Whack Animation.
And like all my
what, you haven't heard of it? Ramon, you haven't heard of Whack Animation?
I'm behind on the times. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So are they. But I feel like my entire graduating class graduating. Haha, it's like they passed. They didn't pass. Anyway, people from second year and then a couple from third year all started working at Whack. Like they went in and they just cleaned house at Sheridan College.
Okay.
Like, come work for us, St. Catharines. We've got all these projects. So we started working there, and that's when I met Matt. And then he introduced me to like trance music, like Paulo controlled and all this stuff.
I did do that.
And I was like, oh man, this is transformative.
I'm like, Eric, come to this rave.
Yeah. And then
Eric got a rave.
You're heavy into the rave scene and stuff. And I was just like, oh man, I was living with this guy, Brian Van Zanden, who I'd never seen again since, shortly after that, he kind of disappeared. But that's we kind of formed this little crew down there, and then Matt and I really bonded. But I think it's kind of when we got into Kung Fu together in Toronto and got more, like we hung out, like one time we moved to Toronto, I kind of got to hang out more with you, and Kung Fu and all that stuff, just the spirituality of it, all that stuff was really, we just love to have big, deep talks about crazy shit and drink beers. And
that's Eric's MO.
Yeah.
See how I'm struggling with this chin.
I like to have good times.
Oh, for shit's sake. I just changed the stroke on all of these at the same time. Wow. I'm actually still learning the iPad version of Illustrator.
Yeah, I've used the Photoshop version, but never the Illustrator version yet.
I'm just a real Illustrator devotee for a long time now.
It's a great program. Like, it's, fabulous.
It suits the way that I think about drawing.
Yeah.
I like being able to go back into a line and mess around with it like it exists in my imagination still.
Well, we should actually share some of your actual. You're doing one facet of your work here, but you do such a variety of design oriented and like beautiful. Just really amazing. Just your design sense is blowing my mind here.
I love this. I actually you gave me where is that guy?
You know what? I have a plush of it here. If you don't have it,
you have a plush of it.
Yeah, I have the gray one.
I love this piece here. This is a great piece.
Where did I put that thing? Man,
we made some prototypes.
I have the gray.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have the black and white gray version of that.
Do you ever use it as a divination system or like a
Totally.
It's supposed to be a talisman, right? Like
I pray to it before I draw.
Because you flip it, you're like, do I want to feel
cool.
Infernal mode or cosmic mode, right?
Oh, nice.
The inspiration for this came from my tiles in my bathroom of the place that I was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Living at the time.
And you've done you've got plushies, you've done playing cards.
I got playing cards.
Some great.
I just recently did a collaboration with Honey Dijon, who's a DJ in New York, and I used to. Back about the time that I was trying to entice Eric to go out to raves, I was out dancing on her dance floors. So 20 years later, she connects with me on Etsy and says, "Do you want to do a collab?"
That's funny.
Super
that's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So those cards are. I'm pretty proud of just the fact that she picked me for that.
Look at these. These are great. I got to get some, Matt. I keep
saying
that.
Those are great.
Those are my own ones. Yeah, they're kind of. I'm just like shamelessly putting them above my iPad here.
Yeah, no, they're great.
That's them
Product
right
placement. I love
placement.
He's a true pro.
Note.
He's a pro.
Link in bio.
And I mean, speaking of music, you also do your own music as well. Like I've seen you post on Instagram and Facebook where you're playing with not a synthesizer, but like just a console where you're.
No, they are synthesizers.
Oh yeah, they are.
It's all these sort of analog. I got I didn't go quite so far as modular synthesis because that's where it gets really not to disrespect modular synthesizer guys, but it's just like a mess of wires. You're like in a cockpit. Yeah. And I kind of like these individual boxes, these little drum machines and things because they represent somebody's vision of what should go into the instrument, right? They're kind of purpose built.
Oh, okay.
And so some of the work is already done for you, to be honest. It's a very relaxing hobby because you don't actually have to know anything about music.
Okay, you're just kind of playing and putting puzzle pieces together, like
musically? Basically, like I know what I like the sound of, and I kind of just dial it in until it sounds good, and I have the luxury of not having to do anything commercial with it. So it's a nice hobby for sure for that reason.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Yeah. YouTube. I get a little bit of interaction from a small number of people, and that's really it's interesting. Like I feel like if I get 2 comments that are positive on a track that I make, I'm like, it's super fulfilling. That's really all it takes. I don't need, I don't know. It doesn't have to be
hundreds of thousands.
Shows.
Yeah.
Like spitting on my iPad. That's not cool for a podcast.
No, you're gonna slip and you're gonna make the wrong line. What's Eric got on his screen there? What are you doing there, buddy?
I'm working on this. I'm making like a stupid computer already. What the crap?
What the?
God, it's like shutting down on me. Okay, cool. I want to show you something and I can't.
Too much.
I'm trying.
Too much bandwidth on your computer.
Oh my God. This is a work computer. Come on, work more better.
It knows you're not working on it. You're just playing.
It's not. All right, let's try this again here. So I can get this to work. I'm working on the card for Sheldon's thing for his Steal the Sun campaign.
But no, you were doing something very interesting, like a brush or something there. Like, was it like a custom?
No, I'm building a border around it.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm trying to do a card, right? So I'm trying to design like a card shot. Idea that I can reuse for the other 2.
For sure, yeah. See, that's something you should be doing in Illustrator.
Yeah, I don't know Illustrator, and you know me, I struggle with just the basics all the time. So
Illustrator's got a learning curve to it, that's for sure.
It does, yeah. It's all math. I call it the math-based art program, but I don't know if that's an appropriate way to call it, but.
It doesn't know pixels at all. It's the equations.
Yeah.
So but you don't have to do equations, obviously.
No, exactly.
I'm really bad at that, so I wouldn't do it.
But I love it for what I use it. I don't use it as extensively as you do, but I find the program indispensable for the stuff I do use it for.
For the design stuff, it's unbeatable. Like I use it for work because a lot of times resolution is an issue, and Illustrator is essentially like resolution independent, meaning like you can zoom up as much as you want. It can't lose resolution because there is no resolution.
No, exactly.
It's just an equation.
Yeah.
I know that sounds
that's pretty deep, actually.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
There is no resolution.
It's
resolution independent.
Namaste. Matt, so why don't you talk about like what you actually do, like day to day?
Okay. Well, it changes all the time. Like I just finished doing a music video. For a band in Toronto. This is the first time I've done a music video. I've always avoided them because usually it's a little bit of the kiss of death because they usually have terrible budgets and well, Ramon, I guess you get approached for these things sometimes, but these guys, I don't know, it's nice guys. I liked the song and the budget was pretty good, and so I spent 3 months. I spent the whole summer basically doing this. And chose to do it in classical animation, which was like really stupid choice. But I wanted it to like be a throwback kind of love letter to things that I grew up on, and I can't say too much about it because it hasn't come out yet. But
okay,
I got stills.
Can you see the band?
Yeah, can you show us anything? Yeah,
they're called the Honey Runners.
Okay,
and they're quite good. So can I share my screen?
Which screen are we talking about here?
Like my face screen. Can I replace my face?
Can you replace?
You can't replace that face, bro. It's beautiful.
I could open up some of these things in a window, and then I could share that tab with you. Is that crazy? Am I getting too? Crazy?
You can share the screen on your laptop because you usually get a laptop there, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So at the bottom it should say share screen.
Yep, I'm thinking that.
Yeah, so just click that, and we'll just add a third monitor on your fancy self.
The future we're dealing with here, guys.
We're the future.
So future right now. So I can go share. If I go screen. I'm gonna if I hit share screen, it's gonna go like Inception, I think, where I'm sharing the screen of the screen.
I don't think so.
Okay,
try it, see what happens.
Oh, okay, a window. Hey, there we go.
They can share either a screen or a window of a program. Or
do you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's so cool.
Ooh, that's interesting. Oh,
it's about, so the song is called Mixtape, and the whole thing takes place inside of one of those kind of old classroom cassette recorders.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's about these ghosts that they're like magnetism ghosts, and they read the tape. So this is like their world.
That's
I got to do
the pencil and the tape deck. I love it.
You got to be from the '80s to know what that is.
Yeah.
I got to do some of my crazy geometry stuff too. So my enjoyable kind of mandala things.
And this is all classic animation.
I mean, I did knock down the frame rate to 8 frames per second just to make it feasible, but that's about that's as low as you can go before it starts to look stupid. But I got really serious creative freedom with this. So
this is glorious. This is amazing here.
I was gonna say if it sucks, it's all my fault.
I love the textures on here too. Is this all rendered, or is this like a photo manipulation, or did you actually like draw inside of a VCR or a tape deck, whatever?
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you have to ask, because I was hoping to kind of obscure my technique. But yeah, this is treated photographs of. I went to a pawn shop and bought like an old cassette recorder,
and then opened it
up with a screwdriver and cleaned it out and
nice.
And took photos close up with my phone.
That's
super
awesome.
Cool, super cool.
So that comes out soon. I don't know. It was supposed to come out on the 22nd. It hasn't quite happened yet, but we'll see. So that's a recent job, and now I'm prepping to work on a documentary about a rock and roll concert in Toronto in the 60s. That's my next project.
Well, that's sweet. And you're completely freelance, right?
Total freelance, except for a blip when I worked at Chorus for about 10 months. I've been freelance for since 2004.
Yeah.
So don't make me do public arithmetic.
Don't worry, I've been doing it longer than that. I just gave up on the math after a while.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Chorus was a good job. I didn't expect to get it, and then I got it, and I was like, what do I do?
What was Chorus?
Chorus is they own all the radio stations, so like, can you listen to the radio? It's all Chorus.
Also Nelvana. They own Nelvana.
That's right. They own
Animation. Nelvana. I mean, they own a lot, actually.
They do. They're a huge media company, and I was the art director for on-air promotions for Teletoon, which is a really strange gig.
Yeah, that's Were you actually doing art, or were you just directing?
I was not doing art. I was doing I was kind of supposed to come up with concepts, but they didn't like any of my concepts.
Good thing they hired you.
Yeah, they hired me, I think, to sort of save the station, and then I didn't save it, so
it's like
it wasn't really great for anybody, and so I was laid off with the rest of that department. I managed to survive. Actually, by the time I got laid off, I was starting to feel like I was getting it. Like I was starting to understand the job and doing a bit better. But then they shut down that part of the whole operation. So that was short lived, but it did remind me of why I like being a freelancer. That's for
sure. Yeah, it's funny because with I work full time in a video game studio, salary gig and stuff, office job, but it's like the most fun job you can have, I think, is in the game industry. And now we're working from home. It's literally just feels like salary freelance. It's so crazy.
That's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
it really is, and it took a little while to get used to. But I don't think I want to go back. Really like what's going on.
Can't say I blame you.
Yeah.
No, enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. Totally.
Do you more this? Do you feel just as or more effective doing from home?
You're cutting out there, Matt. I lost you a bit there. What did you say?
You cut out there. Yeah, maybe. Are you still sharing your screen? That could be eating up your bandwidth.
I said, do you
we're losing him.
Oh, we're losing him. iPad cam. Things are slowing down.
It's coming back.
Slowly but surely, technology will prevail.
I'm gonna prioritize I got the Google Mesh. I'm gonna try to prioritize my computer here.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, you're clearer now all of a sudden.
Okay, good. I was asking if you found yourself like as effective or even more so working from home.
I think I'm more effective, to be honest. Depending like on what aspect of the job. Like when it comes to being able to focus on drawings and get work done, for sure. Because I'm a social fella at work, and people like to come talk and visit me as well in my office, and so it's not distracting in a bad way, but it definitely like dips into your work time, right?
But you manage people though, right? Like you manage a team at.
Yeah. I'm the lead of the concept department, so
that's awesome.
I have I have Craig Sellers is on there still, and who you know, sort of. So and a bunch of we have about 11 people I think now. I just hired 2 new kids to start, and they're working out great, and it's awesome. That's the only thing I do miss about the office is that social side, because I do like interacting with people. I feel like being a manager, you should have FaceTime with your employees, your team members especially, and just to kind of let them know you're there and stuff. But we have like weekly calls, and they know they can reach out and video chat me anytime for any problems and stuff. So, but I do for so in that way, it's not as good because you're at home, but productivity wise, like I can totally focus a lot more. So
definitely, I've always felt that, and just been people have tried, like when I get, as I said, I get all kinds of different jobs, and some of them people have the instinct that they want to get me in house so that they can really watch me work, and that'll make me work harder or something. And I've been pretty successful at convincing people that it's going to be the opposite, and so they, by and large, left me. I did have to go in and work on set I worked on a puppet show for a while, and I had to work on set for that, and that was actually pretty fun.
Sherry Den Boer, enjoying the video from Peterborough. Fascinating to watch and listen.
That's
right on, Sherry.
That's my stepmom. That's my dad's.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going, Sherry? So I guess my dad and they're watching from out of town.
Nice. Now you really can't screw up that Lupin.
No.
I would be letting down
everybody.
Very important people.
Generations of Den Boers.
Yeah. What else is new?
Oh.
That's
I do quite like the working from home, and I think most of my team does. I feel bad for like the new guys that we hired, because one of them's not local. He's in Europe, but the local fella, he moved from Montreal to London, and I just feel bad because he doesn't get to like meet any of us in person. I mean, he's met us in person at a lunch and stuff, but like studio life, especially at a game studio, can be really fun, and having a chef and everything, that's pretty nice. I do miss lunches.
Do you find like everybody eats healthier because there's a chef?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like having to I'm really working on cooking more for Annette and myself, and make sure we're eating healthier and all that stuff. Right, getting older and all that jazz. So
all that, yeah.
And
the jazz of elderliness.
Yeah, and the jazz of just getting shitty. But
got to resist that decrepitude.
Having a cook who is determined to deliver like healthy food and options all the time, even for like vegan, vegetarian, anybody, like
even for them.
Oh, even for them.
Even for those people.
Well, I'm pretty close to vegetarian myself, honestly. I don't eat a lot of meat, I have to say. I should probably eat more.
Yeah, but so I do miss that. Everyone complains about like, maybe we can organize like lunches. We'll go back to work for
just the lunch.
Someone go and say, hey, what's for lunch? And then we decide if we go in or not. Because we'll put it up on the board, right? Like a chalkboard, like what's this week's recipe menu and stuff. Oh, hey, Ken, nice Lupin. Ken Burns.
That is my brother-in-law.
I
don't know if I should
recognize that face because of the Facebooks.
I'm identifying all these callers. I don't know if they want me to. I didn't ask.
You got a little support crew.
Yeah, I put it out there, but not so much. I'm chuffed that people are joining.
Did you find so? How did COVID affect you? Mentally and just like professionally? Like, did it do a number on you, or were you like, oh, this is...
It did a psychological number on me when I went to the grocery store at the beginning. Before we knew anything, before we knew how serious the risk was and all sorts of things. But professionally, it had I think an opposite effect on me as it might have had on a lot of people, because live action stuff kind of went. I work in advertising primarily, so when live action became difficult to do, I was actually on a live action job at the time for Hyundai, and it was just at the time when everything was kind of collapsing, and so animation became kind of in demand, and I was really busy. I think that was it was funny, such a double-edged sword, because I felt fortunate to have work, but slightly jealous of all the people who had so much downtime and were building, like Rube Goldberg machines in their living rooms out of sticks.
That's how I felt. I was like, it's like I'm picking up painting after 20 years. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, I was like, I want to learn Blender or something, but no, I had a bunch of work to do. That was one of the busiest years I've ever had.
Same.
Yeah, I find for our game, Warframe, like, it was gangbusters, like, because people are at home. What are they going to do? Probably play more video games, right?
Yeah.
And so it was great for us, and like we didn't skip a beat, right? So it was super.
Which is it's really very good. Like, one can't complain or ought not to. So yeah, it was pretty okay that way, and I'd already been working from home, so that wasn't a change. I think it affected me probably the least of most of the people that I know, so I feel fortunate.
Yeah, me too. I feel like that's not true. I guess the first year kind of sent me in a bit of a tailspin. I didn't know what was going on. You started kind of questioning, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, is this it? And I kind of went on pause, like, with my projects and stuff, because no conventions were happening. We were like, what are we going to do? We're going to do another anthology. We didn't know. Like, everything kind of got pushed around. And then Ramón, he got time to actually renovate and finish the Radiant Studio, which looks amazing. And for me, I just didn't know. I kind of just took a break almost. And then this year, though, I was like, fuck you, COVID. I'm back, and I'm gonna take that power out of you, and I'm gonna, like, take it for myself. So I've done more work than I ever have, and I've projects I'm like, oh, so. But that first year was a bit of a shambles. Yeah, I didn't know what to really do. So
most people I know, it seems, who are working in creative fields have gone through some kind of similar thing, like some sort of personal challenge followed by renewal and, like, renewed kind of vigor and motivation.
That's exactly how I feel.
Seeing a lot of that. I'm happy because it's a lot of people that I care about, like, I'm seeing a lot of my close friends having a good time.
I think it kind of puts a lens on the reality of existence, if you will. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, shit, am I just gonna sit around and do what I'm doing, or I'm gonna, like, really try and do my own things? And I think it put Raid on a new path too. Like, it pushed us into doing Kickstarters, and this
that's
is
awesome.
Okay, we can't go around.
I definitely noticed the volume of Kickstarters has picked up, and there's like a really, really high bar of quality overall. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. I forgot. Like, we have Derek Loftman, who we should get on here actually one of these days. We'll get him
definitely, yeah. He's got a Kickstarter going on right now too.
Yeah, speaking of that, that's what I actually, just before the show started, I'm like, oh man, I got to support him. He's such a good dude, and
he's awesome.
I just sent him a bunch of money for some stuff. So I haven't done that yet. So the Kickstarter, man, awesome.
How would you guys feel if I just bailed on this Lupin right now and started doing a different drawing?
Do whatever you want, buddy. You're just here creating.
So
if you're not feeling it,
it's just, hey man, make shit Mondays, bro.
I mean, I kind of inked it, and, like, I feel somewhat okay about it, but I'm now feeling like I want to not. This is my big problem. This is why I respect you guys so much. One of the reasons is that you have your ability to finish artwork, like your love of the actual process. I think for me, like, the process is a little bit laborious, and so I kind of want to sketch something, and then I want it just to be done afterwards. When I'm finished sketching, I'd like it to just fill itself in. And
you haven't found the be done brush that you just kind of wave over top?
There's a button for that.
Yeah,
we're still working on it.
It's definitely not an Illustrator.
I don't want that to be invented. That's funny. Like, I want it, but I don't want it.
I know. None of us really want it. You know, you see all these filters now, like the sketch filter, this comic book filter. It's like, oh wow, I'll be unemployed soon. Just like, you know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I really feel that. Well, I mean, maybe I'm just a old fart, but I don't use a lot of canned stuff. I mean, I use Photoshop like it's a piece of paper.
Yeah, same.
Pretty much. And I use After Effects like it's a flip book. I don't use any of the scripting or. So that's. I mean, you guys asked about work, and I gave you a pretty short answer because it's a very varied, mixed bag of stuff. But After Effects is probably next to Illustrator. After Effects is probably the main tool that I use.
Oh, cool, man. I'll have to pick your brain on that. I actually just picked it up the other day. I started making like logo spins and
awesome
things.
We had Mike Roberts on a couple weeks ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows a lot of stuff about a lot of software.
Yeah, he was jamming about that stuff. So
yeah, no, he's great. I'm a big fan of his. The BoJack Horseman title sequence.
Oh my god,
the great title sequences of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
And an amazing show.
Oh yeah,
good old Roberts.
Yeah, and Final Space is really good too. He directed the first season of Final Space. So I just finished the fourth.
What's Final Space? I'm not familiar with
it's
that.
It's a Netflix show. I mean, it took me a little bit of time to.
Final Space. Oh, I'm gonna watch that then. Jeez.
It's really different, and like it might take you a minute to kind of sink into it. But
we just started watching season 4 Yellowstone. This is a whole other direction.
What did you say? Yellowstone?
Yeah.
I don't know that show.
That's a country.
It's like cowboys and mobs and a mob movie, like gangsters out on the range. It's pretty intense. Kevin Costner, the acting is great. It's kind of like a little bit of a guilty pleasure. It's ridiculous, but it's also awesome.
Hold on though, Kevin Costner's in a series?
Yeah,
and he's great in it, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Let's keep watching it.
I started watching. Sorry, go ahead, Ramón.
Oh, go on.
I was just watching Invasion on Apple TV.
Oh, how is that? I've been curious about that.
You know, I saw it like somebody said on some meme or something. They said that Invasion is This Is Us with aliens, and it's kind of true.
Yeah, really?
Messed it up for me. I was like, oh, it's
amazing.
It's a little bit bad.
I've been watching the Foundation series right now.
This has become that. I love those books, but I can't.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna like that. Like I'm very leery. Those books are very.
I never read the books, you know, so I have no point of judgment for the quality. But I'd be quite liking it so far. It's like I mean,
I don't.
It sounds great. It sounds silly to say that it's an intelligent sci-fi, if that makes sense. I don't know because
Yellowstone's on Amazon Prime, Sarah. It's kick-ass.
Oh, Yellowstone. What?
So, with Foundation, how have you stuck? Because I bounced out pretty much after like the second episode because I just couldn't get into the characters particularly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I feel like the show. Like, I feel like a problem that I have with a lot of sci-fi shows. I don't know, your audience might despise me, and you guys might despise me, but I could never get into The Expanse. I could never get into Battlestar.
Well, the funny thing is, Expanse, the first time I watched it, I about 3 or 4 episodes in, I bounced. I was like, this is awful. Can't get into it. And then for years, I kept hearing, this is the best sci-fi on television.
Right?
So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to... I think 4 seasons were out by that point. So I went back, and I had a hard time getting past the first 4 episodes again. But by episode 6 or 7, I could not stop watching. Like, it had hooked me.
I went through the same thing. I was like, all right, let's check this out. Watch them, like, fuck this. And then...
Because the characters aren't really that likable, like, right off the bat. But
And then, man, it just took hold. I was like, shit, I love it. It's great.
So this is the thing with science fiction for me that I find a lot of the time is that it seems to be like I'm really feeling this with Foundation.
Yeah.
Where I feel like the show is saying to me in every scene, like, isn't this cool? Look at this vista. Like this should be enough for you. Like look, there's floating crystals and there's a vista, and I'm like, it's not enough. I need to,
I need more than a vista.
Oh yeah,
I totally watched Midnight Mass and loved it.
We watched all the Midnight Mass in that night. Definitely a strange and interesting show. I love the long dialogues, like when they ask, "What happens when you die?" I was like, "Oh, this is my shit."
Yeah,
like I love that breakdown. That was
somebody had an experience. And then like work that into the show. That is somebody's kind of like breakthrough spiritual journey that's coming through there.
Oh, interesting. I have to check that out.
I think personally, that's my theory.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I think
someone had a shamanic journey, and wrote a scene about it. But I really enjoyed that.
Interesting stuff in that film. I was like, "What am I watching? This is bananas."
It was bananas.
Have you guys
watched? Points I was like, "What?" And then I was still okay. I was
like, "Okay, I'll see it through." What are you drawing anyway? What is this?
Oh, this is for a pinup for a book. So it's the 80th anniversary of the Canadian wartime heroes.
Oh, awesome.
And basically, I'm doing a pinup for a book, which is kind of showcasing all the creators and characters from this era.
Oh, we lost your iPhone cam, Matt.
Oh.
It wants access.
It wants access. But, so this is just me. I promise, and I've been just so busy, I haven't been able to deliver. So I'm just taking a moment tonight to kind of see if I can get this thing done. And
I would love to see you work on your own stuff.
soon.
One day. I can't wait to see that.
My goal is I have a plan. I like, as Matt was saying, people have found people figured shit out over COVID, right? I think to a degree, or at least what was special or what was important to them. When you're and like you were mentioning earlier, I did a lot of renos, I did work. So I was actually super busy. Like I did not stop the entire run. But if the one thing that our current year has shown me is the opportunity that is, sitting in our lap, basically, that where we can kind of create and grow our own audience, right? And the funny thing, like I actually a couple of days ago, I listened to a podcast about these two guys were doing a review of one of my older works, and it's sometimes when you hear people go like, oh, like I wish he'd do more writing and more, this, that, and the other thing, because clearly he's a good writer, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay, that's you don't think of it because you're like, I'm busy drawing all the time. Yeah. But it's nice when you hear it from the outside realm. You're like, fuck yeah, I gotta get organized. And so,
Ramon, I feel like Kookaburra. That was you, right?
That was me. Yeah.
I loved that.
Well, thanks, man. I had fun with it, and that's my goal. I want to bring that to print in 2022. Yeah. So that's one of the things. I feel like it's a life loose end. It's a story.
Totally.
I want to finish the story, and I want it to be done where people can enjoy it. And then I have other ideas that I want to get out there, the one thing, as Eric was mentioning earlier with was it the getting older and the pains and the this and the that. It's right. Like, fuck you, you
start to notice there's a limit, right? On like what you can actually, there is actually a limit.
Like when you're 20 or 30, you're like, I got all the time in the world. And look at me, ma, whatever. And now I'm like a few years shy of 50. So you're like,
what matters? What do I want?
What do I want? Like, what am I going to be doing in the next? It's funny how time it flies, but it's also manageable. Like you can do a lot. Like if I look back on the past 10, 15 years, I've done so much.
Oh God, yeah.
But it also flew by. But then I'm like thinking, well, I still got another 10 before, in my opinion, I don't plan to slow down at, retire like a normal person. Nope. I love what I do, right? So I'll probably keep going.
Yeah.
But I'd like it to be to the point where I don't have to if I don't want to, kind of thing.
I like this idea of a life loose end. That's like, it's something that you've earmarked. You've stamped it as something that's like you're not satisfied letting it remain unfinished.
I'd like to see enough people have enjoyed it over the years. I get there's this one great fan who still writes me all the time and talks about the comic, and it's like I haven't updated it in 2 years or 3 years, right? And before that, probably 7. It's just like, so yeah, I gotta definitely earmarked for completion in 2022.
Well, Sarah's asking if the Kookaburra Kickstarter is being pushed out as well, or Raid 4 first.
Well, we have a tentative plan, and I didn't want to really announce things officially, but
okay.
We are looking, our plan for the spring of 2022 right now is first Raid 4, which will then roll into Forest Folk Volume 2, and then Kookaburra, and then we have a special book planned for right after that, which we'll announce closer to the day. But yeah, that's the plan I'm sticking to. So right now, while juggling my loose ends, such as today's drawing, I'm also, working Stillwater, but working on Cuckoo on the same time, and doing some writing as well to plan for things I want to launch in 2023.
Yeah, I got
what I mean?
23 plans.
So it's just like,
were you always into the writing aspect, or did that develop later for you?
Actually, you know what? I was always. I mean, I'm not probably known as a writer. I've never really worked for. I worked for Marvel briefly as a co-writer on a series, but most of the writing I've done has been either for small companies or for my own work. And but I always told stories. Whether I was in high school or web comics or whatever, it was always my first thing to write my own stories. I never really had an inclination to draw other people's stories, but being an artist is easier to get work than shopping your ideas around. And when I started my career, unless you were pitching Marvel or DC stories, no one was really looking for independent stuff, because independent stuff back then didn't sell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's funny because all the stuff that I grew up, all the comics I was interested in as a kid were like Cerebus the Aardvark and Usagi Yojimbo and
same
weird stuff,
Yeah, same. But it seemed like people were just like, you're not gonna make money doing that. So you're like, okay, so you focus on the art, you make moves for Marvel, because I never really had any interest in writing for Marvel characters. I never had I had friends who'd be like, I got the perfect Doctor Strange story. I'm like, I don't care. I got to make my own story and make my own characters, and you know what I mean. And that's why you never really see me do much fan art or anything, because I never really had an inclination to do.
Either.
It's fun to visit. Like if like I said, I'm doing a piece for Lupin. I've done a Captain Harlock cover.
I like doing my Capcom stuff. That's the one.
Yeah, it's fun. But when if it's just me sitting at the table, I'd rather just play around with my own ideas and get those out there and develop them. Right.
I think if you really squint hard at the idea of what constitutes a story, that's something that we all, I include myself in that. That's one place where I can say that we have, overlap, despite the fact that we work in really different fields and all the rest of it. It is all about stories, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the stuff you're doing, whether it's the animation or the visual, you're telling a visual or a moment. You're relaying something, and that something is a story, whatever aspect of it you're sharing. But it is that you're just feeding people a journey. Do
you guys remember there's an episode of Star Trek Next Generation you guys watch?
I love that series. Yeah.
Do you remember the episode where they went to a planet where the whole currency, they weren't interested in anything that they had. They didn't care about riches or whatever. The whole thing was stories.
Really?
Give us a novel. The whole civilization was like, if you can give us novel stories, that's what we want. We'll let you go.
That's cool.
Which is, I can see that's like us in the future. They're like, give us content.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Planet TikTok.
Yeah. Planet TikTok. Oh, don't frighten me like
that. What do you, Matt and I used to always kind of send links to each other about weird stuff we're reading or watching. Is there anything you're reading now, buddy, that
I'm listening to? Honestly, I went through a whole, it was 25 years of because I think instinctively I'm a little gullible. I want there to be magic in the world. So I went really hard on the scientific materialism to kind of, I don't know, just work in the opposite direction, I guess. But lately, I've been listening to Alan Watts stuff, and do you know that Alan Watts?
Yeah, I've actually came across his stuff. Yeah,
I'm just really enjoying some of those.
Like seminars he's done?
Well, just talks that he he's super dead, but he gave a bunch of talks, and he's got a lovely, British pipe smoking voice.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I've been listening to a lot of I do podcast. For really unexpectedly, I got super interested in economics podcasts. That turns out to be, I know it sounds ridiculous, but economics is like a crazy, fascinating take on how things happen in the world. And I don't feel like that's going to land so flat. It's just like, yeah, sure. But but for serious though, and also cognitive science, I got really interested in that, although not in any kind of like productive way. Like my wife is an actual scientist, so I don't pretend to producing results or anything, but I like hearing what people who work in I like understanding the hidden parts of the ways that we think, the stuff that's kind of operating in the background. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just hit my own camera. That's really interesting to know. I heard a good formulation of, it's a podcast about rationality or something like that, and it was this idea that it was like a recommendation for self-knowledge in the service of rationality, and the idea was basically that if you understand yourself, you can kind of filter that shape out of the input of the rest of the world that's coming at you, so you get a more direct experience of the actual world and people that you're inhabiting, rather than necessarily kind of seeing a reflection of yourself. So that sort of shit, psychological shit,
I like it. I love that shit.
I know you do. I've got a list a mile long, Eric. A mile
long.
I think I was sending you talks about the geology and of the Earth, and how the Earth, you can't hide the truth from the past of this world and stuff. And I got all kinds of weird stuff that I was into. I love all that stuff, and I feel like I'd always be like, "Oh, I know a guy who's gonna like this. I gotta send it to Matt."
I'm always there. I can receive it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, I remain fascinated. That's actually, I think that I was thinking about earlier. I was feeling some guilt about not reading comic books and things, because I used to read comic books when I was younger, and I'm like, shit, man, I'm going on a podcast with this guy.
Oh, dude, I don't read comic books.
I don't read comics either.
But you make so many. You read them while you're making them.
I mean, to a degree, I guess you're reading the scripts you work on, but I'll be honest, it's been a long time. I mean, I exaggerate. There's probably one or two I read here and there, off and on, but I buy them in a trade. I don't buy the floppies anymore. But I found most of the stuff in comics just doesn't grab me anymore. It just doesn't scratch that itch.
Yeah, I think I got addicted to nonfiction at some point. I started getting really, really interested in just stuff about stuff, and that became what I mostly get out of bed for. Yeah,
I mean, same. I actually read a lot of I love mythology. I love science related stuff. I love entrepreneurial, text, or even religious. I love religion too. One of my big favorites. So it's
it's fascinating.
I love the culture of people and the things we do, but I think that can be said for a lot of people in the creative industry. I think you're often looking for inspiration outside of your own industry rather than from within your industry.
Well, and I think if you're doing this thing, if you're interested in stories, I think that automatically means you're interested in the human condition, because that's what stories are about. They're about walking a character through a bunch of stuff that happens. It's actually a pretty amazing thing that our species does.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Stories forever.
You still doing any martial arts, or?
Well, I have a heavy bag in my basement. We bought it for our middle child. He's a 14-year-old bruiser. He's already taller than me. But I hit that thing probably more than he does. I miss going to the gym and the fighting arts. Well, I switched over to Muay Thai.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
and that just really was a eye opener, because there's not a lot of forms, but there's a lot of getting punched in the face.
Yeah, I miss training. I've been starting to do it myself, just more and more. I built a dojo in the garage here, in the garage, and a weight room and stuff for Annette. She likes to work out and stuff. So
excellent.
I do miss training. I haven't been to the actual dojo in years, unfortunately. COVID's not helping, but I'm trying to build one up here. So
I run on the treadmill and I watch Lupin the Third while I do it, and then
love it.
And then I hit the heavy bag for a little bit, and I do some of this stuff, and Eric, I still do 18 Palms of the Buddha there, like
the Lohan.
I still do Lohan. That shit stretches you out nicely.
Remember those days? And Sifu would put on like the music, Kung Fu fighting. We run around the room kicking and punching. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my God!
Just be nerdy about it. Just get into it. I'm like, all right,
dude. I can't even believe that was real. That was us.
I know, dude. That is great. You ever talk to him?
No. I'm still friends with him on Facebook though.
Oh man,
I've talked to Shelly a couple times. His wife.
Oh, Shelly, yeah, that's right. Yep. Does he still teach?
I guess so. Yeah, I think that's his thing. I think that's his whole deal.
That's such a slice of time that we spent together so much. It's so interesting.
I'm really glad just for the fact that it brought us in the same. It brought us close for a period of time because that was totally. It was essential. But I on Dundas when I go through the city near OCAD. I used to live right near OCAD, and there's like a proper kind of like Shaolin school there now called the Quan Fa Institute. And there's always a piece of me that's like, I want to study. I want to study at the Quan Fa Institute.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I know. When I'm not training and I get into these Zen moments of things, and I'm like, I got to get back to training. Like, I made it part of my challenge to myself this year is to pick up the sword and start swinging it around more. So I've been doing it. So
that's good. Good for you.
Yeah.
It started at the raid retreat because it was that month's addition to my 12 months of change.
you just hitting your friends with swords up there?
Well, they see me walk off into the morning sun into the farm and swinging my big Subarito training sword. They're like, "What's wrong with that guy?"
We need to find out. Follow him.
Follow him. Clearly has no idea what he's doing.
I could have brought my Highlander sword and joined you.
No, there can be only one though.
That's why we would duel.
Have you tried any meditation? I'm very not talented at meditation.
No, I haven't.
I've tried, and it's I have to give some props to people who can do it because I find it very, very challenging to just sit there. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's sort of to me it hints that there's something there. That the fact that it's that hard, I'm like maybe that sort of indicates.
The last hardcore meditation was at the Kung Fu, sitting on those little pillows and
the 81 breaths and the 81 heartbeats.
Yeah, that was wild, man. Like,
get a pearl, gather the light, get a pearl,
get another one,
put it in your Bowie, get another one. Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, I love that. I love that. That was so cool.
You never want to stop at one pearl of light.
No, there was some cool shit that came out of that, man. That was definitely valuable experience. And then I moved over to, my whole reason was I really wanted to get into Daitoru.
No, I know you've loved Daitoru through and through.
It's my shit.
That's your deep love.
It's my deep love. So.
When you find your shit, I mean.
Yeah. What is Sam saying? I first encountered it as an LD video game cliffhanger. Oh yeah, video game. You playing anything?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Hades. I play the shit out of Hades.
Hades?
All the time. Have you played that thing?
No.
Oh my god.
PS4, Xbox, or
I think it's for everything. It's from Supergiant. It's the guys who did Bastion and you remember Bastion? It's just for me it's not deep in the sense of being like an RPG or you used to kick my ass at fighting games all the time in a really frustrating way. So it's not that. It's like if you imagine Gauntlet, remember Gauntlet?
Oh yeah.
If you took Gauntlet and you kind of tilted it in a 3/4 view, and it looks so beautiful,
so cool, man.
And it's a roguelike, so it's procedurally generated. Like the rooms are always different. There's 3 sort of like biomes or stages that you go through, and then some boss fights, and it's always the same. But for me, like to be able to sit down and burn through like a 45-minute run of a game like that, and you're kind of accumulating permanent strength as you're going through, these rounds, and upgrading all your stuff and whatever. That's what I want out of a video game. It's hard for me to sit down for 3 hours. Like I used to play Destiny 2.
Oh, okay.
And that was really fun. I loved going on there with my friends and doing the raids and things like that. But I can't commit that It's not that I can't. I got other priorities, you know, like I want to play with my drum machines and like, you know, do stuff.
For sure.
And so video games need to be short for me.
Have you ever tried Warframe?
I have. I have. And it's kind of like Destiny. It's similar in that way.
It's better than Destiny. But anyway, I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm just joking.
It's
a really cool game too, man.
But it requires, I mean, it's, first person shooters. I guess, you know, even back in the day when GoldenEye was popular, I wasn't into the first person stuff. I've always been a platformer guy or like a top down Smash TV kind of. I'm a simpleton when it comes to video games. Although I just played Metroid. The last one I played that I really enjoyed was Metroid Dread. That's a phenomenal classic game.
Metroid's a classic.
Do you guys have a Switch?
No.
I love the Switch.
I play a lot of Final Fantasy 14 online still. I love Final Fantasy.
I can't with that.
Speaking of which, I found my great wife found me a PS4 and bought it for me.
Finally, you got one.
She surprised. I told her, hey, if you're going out to Shoppers, check a Shoppers Drug
You mean a PS4 or PS5?
PS5.
PS5. Yeah.
They're impossible to get. They're like still super hard to get.
She was out. She went to Shoppers, checked there, nothing. Went to Walmart, nothing. Then she walked into Best Buy, and they're like, "Yeah, PS5." Like, "Yep, get this version." Yep. She's like, "Okay, I'll take one." And she came home. She's like, "Sorry, Eric, Shoppers didn't have it." I'm like, "Oh, that's okay. I figured they would." But I found it at Best Buy. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
So what are you getting for that?
I was such a child, and man, I finally got it all set up the other day, and I've been holding on to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's the classic.
Oh, buddy, it is, and they did such a good job with that.
No way.
I'm losing my mind at how awesome it is.
Okay, I feel like Sarah's watching, but that's Sarah's Final Fantasy. Like I feel like that's
man. Final Fantasy VII changed the world in my mind. When you left Midgard and it was in a whole world that you could walk around, and just travel across, I was like, "This is it. I'm done. This is it. I've lived my whole life now. I've seen everything."
I wish I could lay claim to more intellect in video games. Like I really want video games to be kind of like, you know, like that paddle ball, like where you have the ball with the like elastic and there's a paddle and you hit the ball and it snaps back to the paddle and you try to, or like the cup and ball where you throw the thing and it lands in like the little ice cream cone shaped wooden.
Oh, that game, yeah, the old.
I'm such a simple video game player. I like asteroids and, you know, Space Invaders and stuff like that.
Classics.
Well, you were into that crazy one where like you would switch between black and white, like that's Fighter. Like depending on the enemies, you had to choose, like you had to switch the color or something, or the what was that called?
Oh, I can't remember.
And weren't you huge into like Hyperlight Drifter or whatever?
Oh yeah, Hyperlight Drifter was awesome. Yeah, I got stuck with that though. Like I lose patience if I get lost in a game too, because I'm not so great at like building mental maps. So if I get lost and I'm kind of wandering around, that's what I've never finished a Zelda game because I get sick of wandering around. I'm so tired of it.
Everybody's mentioning Ikaruga.
Oh my god, Ikaruga! So
good. That's it.
That shit was amazing. Yeah,
you would go on and on about that shit.
I would go on and on about it. Because you know, I feel like in its simplicity, it's saying something really deep. And maybe that's just me being silly, but I found it was so, there's something in that concept.
Well, I know it clicked with you. You're like, yes, this is my kind of game.
Yeah. I'm an arcade gamer.
Warp speed.
I was a kid who did his paper route, and then, you know, my parents would say, come home right away after you go and do your collections. And I would sneak to the arcade and play, you know, these kinds of like one-shot games.
Yeah, I used to love that, like Space
I'd always
Harrier.
take my skateboard and run to the comic book shop.
There was a comic book shop just up the street from the arcade. The arcade in my old neighborhood was called the Sting, and the comic book shop was, oh man, I don't remember what it was, but it was just up the street. I remember I gave myself a tattoo with a pin, and I went to that comic book shop. They had a Street Fighter machine, and I rolled up my sleeve. I think I was 13, 14, and I rolled up my sleeve so that everyone could see my self-made tattoo, and I played Street Fighter 2. There were no people there to see, but if there had been, they would have noticed.
They would have noticed.
Too. Love it.
My arm was like, it was like your thumb. Like this is like me at 14, weighed 70 pounds. Yeah, I loved arcade games. You couldn't have Final Fantasy in the arcade. You'd have to sleep there.
That would never work. Yeah.
My biggest claim to fame was it Black Tiger? I could finish that on 1 quarter.
Double Dragon was a 1 quarter.
Double Dragon I managed to do on 1 quarter as well.
Yeah, that was a 1 quarter finish.
That's my jam.
Yeah. I never moved past that jam. I just never really kind of evolved. That remains my jam.
It's your jam.
But I do respect. I respect the high-minded games. I definitely do. I just haven't been able to. I also don't like games that are work. Like everyone loves Animal Crossing, and I'm like, it's chores. It's just chores.
I have tons at home. I don't need more chores.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of get it, but it's just not. It's not for me.
I play Final Fantasy Online, and it's a lot of chores, and I like those chores.
If you like the chores, then they're not really chores.
May the chores be with you.
Oh, buddy, close.
But jokes have gotten better.
Now I'm picking colors. This is where it's getting real.
Oh shit!
Oh damn it! What am I going to do with this thing? Like for color? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get another beer from the fridge.
Oh, that's a smart play. Hi, Ramon. I think it's the first time a guest has left our. What's up, buddy?
Yo, this is a Bellwoods. You're mentioning Bellwoods.
I think Ramon's on mute for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, sorry. I had Rob came over and chatted with me for a hot second because my screen had froze. So, but I just mentioned Bellwoods earlier because you had it on your glass, the logo.
Oh, that's why. That makes sense. It's like when someone asks you your name and you're wearing a name tag.
Exactly.
Or they tell you your name. You're like, what?
That's the Bellwoods I would go to by your place there, right, Ramon?
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like going there. It's all right, man.
They end up with a lot of my money, those guys.
Yeah.
That's some really beautiful solid shading you got going on there.
What's that?
I like the solid shading, the areas of something I always really love about your stuff, Ramon, is like the bold.
Oh, thanks, man.
The bold shadows, the fearless use of darkness.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like I've lost touch with it a bit because I've been working in the color world so much. Because when I first freelanced, all I did was black and white, so I was really into like Mignola was a god, Kevin Nolan, all these guys, and I just went out of my way to balance my blacks meticulously, which I feel like I've lost it a bit, and I have to kind of relearn, or at least give myself more time to play in that realm.
Do you still paint with a brush a lot?
Well, most of my work now is digital. But every so often, depending on the artwork, I will pull out either a brush or a quill, depending on
gutsy.
On the vibe I want, basically, right?
It's just so pulse pounding, sweaty for me to think about drawing with a brush.
It's funny that when you were talking earlier about meditation, and this might be a cliched thing because I might have heard other artists say this, but I found for me, like I've never been able to meditate. I've tried to sit down and do like the I even at one point I went to like when I was in Japan, I went to a monastery for a couple nights.
Oh wow!
And hung with the monks, and they put us through like meditation, and I just couldn't get it. Like I tried, but my brain was just so active, I couldn't like just calm it down.
Monkey mind.
But
that's what they say.
But inking with a brush or a quill, that's what gets me meditating, because I'm just focusing on the line, and that becomes my meditation. Where, like, cause it's like you have to create the stroke, the line, the gesture, and you can't really be thinking about other stuff, right?
Oh, I really hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. Especially these symmetrical kind of geometric things that I do. Mm-hmm. They feel only partially. This one, I mean, is a bit different because I'm a little more conscious of it. But a lot of times when I'm doing the sketches for these things, it's fairly automatic. It feels a little bit like a fugue state.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about inking, and it's actually I don't get that from digital inking, only traditional inking, which
interesting.
Which I think sorry. No, I was just going to say I think it's because with traditional inking, there's less room for error. Like, you can easily undo, obviously, on your computer, right?
Yeah, it requires your presence. You have to be like fully present to do
Whereas,
it.
Whereas, like inking on a digital screen does not require my presence at all.
I feel kind of the same about when I DJ, when I play records and have to beat match the records.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
That activity pretty much precludes active consciousness. You just really can't.
Yeah.
So I hit that zen when I do like my paintings. When we were at the raid retreat, just sitting there painting silly little acrylics.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I zone out. I'm just like, that's my job.
So that's one of my goals is to actually get back into more traditional work, if I can, in the coming year. And I have a couple projects which I've geared to be kind of around that to help me kind of get that state as well. So
Calman's got some deep words. I like it.
What was he saying? Oh,
I don't see. Oh wait,
he's saying I feel you, Matt. AAA games are all competing to-do lists, too much like the life I'm seeking escape.
You know, Calman gets me when it comes to games. I'm sorry, I've been missing this whole comments feed, which is, I feel stupid. I've been on.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Calman and I have been playing Streets of Rage, the remastered Streets of Rage. Or not even remastered; it's like completely rebuilt from the ground up.
Oh wow!
And that's the like side scroller beat 'em up.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly satisfying. It's like. It's a short game. You know what you know. It's not like there's no surprises. You finish it once, it's going to be pretty much the same run.
Yeah.
But you can play multiplayer, and you just the emphasis is on getting the crunch of the impacts of the punches. It's like Final Fight or any of those games from the past. You really feel like you're. I don't know. It makes you feel like you're in a street fight, but a safe one.
I love a good safe street fight.
Safe street fights are the best street fights. Yeah. I have to say, we're talking about all this Zen stuff, and I feel like there's probably fruits of actual meditation and Zen practice that are well beyond what we can achieve through. We might get a taste through drawing, but I have to leave some room for the possibility that eventually I might get the meditation thing, and there might be a lot more to it than.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe this is just a taste of like what we're capable of.
Yeah.
Our minds, anyway.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's very healthy. I feel it's very restorative to do one of these kinds of like automatic drawings where you're only half present. Yeah. You're making decisions, but they're coming out of a kind of weird part of you that only gets activated when you're doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It has something to do with symmetry for me. I
can see that.
Yeah.
You're balancing shapes and color and sound. I mean, visuals.
I almost and you said sound, but it's kind of what techno is like. I don't know. It's not a musical form that I feel like many people that I have contact with outside of my weird online music groups truly enjoy. But it's geometric. It's like geometric music.
Yeah, I can see that. And building and layering of sounds and repetitions and.
I can't pretend the fact that that it's accessible to those of us who haven't trained in music isn't a big part of the appeal, but it is also the music that I enjoy. To go to parties and listen to. I miss that. I miss being able to go to shows and see DJs play.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've actually randomly gone to a couple of bar nights and bands were playing. I was like, "Oh, this is nice."
Really? Recently?
Yeah. It was,
man, did it feel incredibly normal, but like amazing at the same time?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it felt incredibly normal. It felt weird for the first hot second when you walk in because
how normal it was.
It was funny because I was with somebody from out of town and they leaned over to me and they were like, "Isn't it weird that we're in a bar watching a show like during this whole?" And then I kind of leaned back and I was like, "Isn't it weird that you think it's weird?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
You're in a bar, because it's like it shouldn't be weird. This should be normal." But we've been in this weird state for 2 years where everything has not been normal, and we've grown accustomed to what has not been normal becoming the normal. So it's been very kind of. It's going to mess with a lot of people's heads for a while, I think. Like.
Yep.
Well, we started just going to the theater.
Yeah.
Like, and that in itself is just kind of a mind fuck because you're like, oh, and everyone's got their mask off. So I'm like,
exactly. Yeah. Well, I was in the bar. No one. They don't have their mask on.
Why we got vaccinated? Like, it's just
you just gotta trust the, just hope it all works out. Basically,
still feels bonkers though. Like Sarah and I went out to a bar the other day and had drinks and food indoors with other people for the first time since this all started, and it was great and felt amazing. But at the same time, I don't know, just it's very unusual. And I think, I've got a bunch of kids, so for me, it's thinking about the kids a lot because they're all at school doing this stuff with, like, they're at school. Imagine elementary school, but with masks.
Yeah, I know, right?
Super weird.
Yeah.
We went to see Dune.
Nice. I haven't seen that one yet.
So I'm dying to see that. Dying.
I saw Bond last week, but Dune.
Very happy with the Dune personally. Very
awesome.
Nice, glad to hear.
It deserves a proper treatment. That story.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I felt like it was like a cinematic dream and just beautiful aesthetics, and I'm like, oh god, music. Fuck. Anyway, I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me because that's one that I
think that's this weekend. I think I'm going to try to catch that.
Have you guys seen the documentary, the Jodorowsky's Dune?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that thing.
Oh yeah, it did. That's fucking great.
No, that's just inspiring to watch, and how that disambiguate. That's not a word. It kind of like just fluttered to different parts of different movies. All the creatives, and they took different ideas, and this. It's just fascinating.
Honestly, that it's almost like when something dies and it's like its corpse feeds the ground and like flowers sprout up or something.
Exactly.
It didn't live, and even Jodorowsky's own take on it, just the fact that he had to just swallow it, the fact that he had to come to terms with the fact that this thing that he felt was going to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
There was just no way he train his son like ruthlessly in martial arts or something to become Paul Atreides.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
And he was supposed to. So he made all these sacrifices. He had people around him make sacrifices. Yep. It just felt like he was gonna. It was this, unstoppable juggernaut of a production, and then it just went.
Yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah. No, it's fucking crazy. Oh.
I follow an account on Instagram, a guy who collects Mobius artwork. Mobius is a huge hero of mine, art-wise.
Oh yeah.
He recently, I forget what auction house, they put up the storyboard for for Jodorowsky's Dune. That huge tome that they show.
Yeah.
That's being auctioned off.
Wow, that's awesome. That'd be great to kind of like just flip through and enjoy.
Yeah, imagine.
Bronis Jodorowsky's knife fighting training. Bronis? Is that how you say Bronis? Kalman knows so much shit.
Oh,
he always has information.
That's a great tidbit. Yeah, right. That's what I was talking about. Like, thank you for verifying that little piece of information that he put his son through all kinds of shit to like become this role, and then it just didn't happen. I think that guy's still alive, Jodorowsky.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. He writes comics, or did. Like he took a lot of his Dune ideas and basically superimposed it into a graphic novel series, the Meta Barons, I believe it was. I think that's the one.
Well, he worked with Mobius a bunch of times, right? Like there were a bunch of different collabs between those guys. Yeah, I'd love to get further into that. Now, I do think there's a backlog of comics that I need to immerse myself in at some point in my life. Put it on the list.
I have the ever-growing pile that my girlfriend's always just is like, why do you buy these books? You never read them. And I'm like, one day.
I will, though.
I will chip away at this pile one day.
It's motivation to stay alive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I can't die yet. I still have. Oh, God. He's also Taika Waititi, now directing Jodorowsky's Incal. This guy's busy.
What? Is that real?
That's what someone just posted.
Okay.
Oh, man.
That guy is busy.
It's like every comic book property is now being developed into a movie.
By Taika Waititi.
Yeah, by Taika Waititi, exactly.
We also saw the week before The Last Duel, which was surprisingly good.
Okay, that rings a bell.
That has Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Yeah. So right away I was like, I don't know. I don't know why I say that, but that's kind of
I know why. I know why. It's because you used to see those two names all together, together all the time. And
so I'm like, I don't know, those two in the period piece. I don't know.
The fantasy one you were watching.
Yeah, we were both, Annette and I were both like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like the different kind of storytelling, and but I think it bombed, unfortunately. But I think it's just timing.
It definitely looked like an interesting movie. I do want to see it. I just had no rush to see it in the theater.
Yeah. I'm still not sold on theaters. I haven't done it yet.
Oh, I've done that. I went the other day to see Bond, and they were full. Like the limits were removed, and it was fine. I mean, some people kept their masks on, some people didn't. I think at this point you just gotta trust.
Yeah, nobody can shit on anybody else really for their choices at this point.
No,
it's just like,
you just gotta do it at your rate, your comfort rate, and. Go forward. Like we did a show too a couple of weeks ago with Raid at the Fan Expo, and fans are coming. Everybody's wearing masks in that regard, and it's kind of funny because you have in the con you're wearing masks, but the theater you're not. You can go to a restaurant, no one's wearing masks, but the waiter is, and you're just like, this is so bizarre. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I'm just like, whatever. If I'm gonna get it, I'll get it. And
as long as your vaccine's still kicking.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Boosters are coming.
Yeah, my dad already had his. And
my Nana, my 97-year-old Nana, she's 3 weeks.
Nana. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. How's everyone's drawings working out so far here?
My computer's frozen, so I'm just paused here.
I don't know what's going on. I'm like trying to put this thing on the different layer. This is the problem with Illustrator. Is sometimes you're like, why did I don't see the shape that I just drew? Oh, because it's locked. Yeah. That's why. Not bright.
Pfizer's close to a pill form. Just pop a pill. You'll be good. The blue pill.
Say.
Pick the blue pill.
Pfizer's making a lot of money right now.
All these pharmaceutical companies are making a lot of money right now.
Well, don't they always make a lot of money?
That's also true.
Yeah. I mean, the mRNA thing is pretty neat, though. The technology is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. It's fascinating.
One thing I didn't know until Sarah is as I said, she's a bona fide scientist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get the designation, like the actual she is a neurobiologist really by training, but did her earlier work in vaccines, in school, and so she's explained a bunch of stuff to me about it. And one of the things that I thought was really cool about it that it seems to me anyway, hasn't received a lot of attention in the overall conversation is that, when the mRNA goes in and it teaches your cells how to make the spike protein.
Yep.
Right. But the cool thing is it has a I'm going to use a technical term, a thing in it that causes the spike proteins to be displayed on the cell's surface. They don't float around. They're bound to the surface of the cell that's producing them. So that any fears about the spike proteins migrating around in your bloodstream, it's not part of what the vaccine does.
No, that's like the nanobot that gets injected with it.
That
goes in,
right,
and it gets you better 5G signal.
I think it's a TikTok. It's a TikTok branded nanobot that goes in there.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you like TikTok.
That would explain a lot. Actually,
it's like toxoplasmosis. Like when you own a cat and you scoop their shit a lot, you get toxoplasmosis, and then you just want cats around all the time.
Oh God,
that's great. I got 4.
Yeah, you're full of that stuff, man. You're riddled with it.
Anybody want a cat?
You got toxic plasmosis or whatever.
Yeah.
I've had enough mimosis for the rest of my life.
So much mimosis.
A BCS now. There you go. You win. I don't know what the fuck's with my computer.
That's not the right color for there. So
my intuition.
Yeah, and my intuition says no.
Yeah, that's what you got to do sometimes.
Now it says
it just doesn't feel right.
Now my intuition says my iPad's behaving strangely, so I should save the file.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my computer. I was drawing, I hit save, and now it's taking forever just to remove.
As I look at this reminds me of a boss in Destiny. There's a boss in Destiny that looks like this. I feel like I'm just ripping off Destiny here.
And this is a label for a. No, hold on a second. No.
This year that I'm drawing?
Yeah.
This is nothing. This is just
nothing.
for fun.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
This is just a thing for fun. I just like, I actually bought a book from a bookstore recently that had a kind of geometric art style that reminded me of my own.
Mm-hmm.
And it had this very kind of like bold color scheme, and I got inspired by that and kind of thought I'd try to do something along those lines.
Have you ever done, like, I don't know if it would be taboo to, like, with all these geometric, have you ever done, like, a coloring book for people to, like, kind of just zone out and zen out? Because I know they were really popular for a while.
Yeah, I never have. I think the incredible explosion of adult coloring books, it was uncomfortable for me in some way. Like,
oh yeah,
I just knew too many people who were like absorbed in coloring these, like, you know, it was like a leopard with a bunch of paisleys in it. So, like I did produce 2 coloring books actually, but they were gifts for my kids. I did one for Holly.
Okay.
I did one for Holly that had a bunch of characters she liked, from Zootopia and Legend of Korra and things like that. And the other one was like kind of a rock and roll coloring book.
Nice.
And that was fun for sure. But no, I've never done this.
We did a coloring book for Ray, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, free on our website for download.
Nice.
We did that we did that early in the pandemic for give people something to do if they wanted to color.
That's great.
I don't think I ever saw any colored versions of the art.
Still a nice idea, though.
You know, I think maybe like 1 or 2. I think I saw posted later on down the line, but yeah, I don't know. We had a lot of downloads of it, like
there it is,
hundreds. Yeah, but yeah, I think I'd be curious to see some actually.
It's a good thought.
Go get it.
Oh, there's some fun ones in there. Download it up, color it up, go crazy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys mess with the Oculus VR at all?
Nah, not yet.
I'd
like to try it out, but
I think we've tried it in the game studio for some of that. I don't know how far we're going with it, but
yeah, I'm all about the mini golf on that. Because I'm at that stage in life, right? Like I'm excited. I got a new dish rack. It's got 2 tiers. I don't have a dishwasher in my house, so like the dish rack having like some like channels that like wick the water away. I'm like, I wake up in the morning and I remember that I have this dish rack and I'm excited.
You get excited?
I also got a recipe for lentil soup that I'm super stoked about. I bought some big carrots and
you got
some onions and things.
We're all about the good food orders.
That's where I'm at right now in my life, where that stuff is what's making me excited.
I bought I'm getting into cooking, so I bought like a really nice pan, a couple of pans.
Yeah. Yep. Do you have a good chopping knife? Like
I bought one. I gotta get. That's the next thing is getting like proper knives. I love knives.
Sarah got me Global, I think the company is, and so I've got to get my technique so I don't cut myself really terribly because it is incredibly sharp. These knives.
Yeah, I did buy one, and I just kind of like touched my skin and it went right through it. I was like, oh, that hurt.
God.
Oh yeah, wow, blood. Oh, look at that.
Look how strong. Look how sharp this knife is. Damn. All right, so lesson learned.
Lesson learned indeed.
Be careful.
It is fun though. It does make cooking more fun to have good tools.
Well,
yeah, for sure.
And that doesn't really cook, and I kind of wanted to be good at cooking at some point. So in this way, I can kind of make her food for her work and stuff. And it's all good. It gives me a little more purpose in the house. Like I'm not just this guy drawing in the corner like a weirdo. What else does he do? I don't know.
He cooks now. He cooks.
How he cooks. What do you guys think of this weird card I'm doing?
Where is this?
Let me see it. I can't see it.
Hey, Dorothy. Thank you.
Oh, my mother-in-law.
Thank you, Dorothy. Stuff for Burns. Ex Foster.
She's right now. She's saying Stouffer.
Stouffer.
It's Stouffer. Yeah. You know Stouffville. You know the town of Stouffville.
Mm-hmm.
It's named after her family.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's power, my friends.
Power indeed.
You know, Eric, I gotta say, while we're in this forum, that I really feel that, like, I too am you mentioned something earlier about Ramon's more designy stuff, and I am a fan of your more designy stuff as well. And I really love those cards that you did for Warframe.
Those are gorgeous. Yeah.
Trading cards. They're amazing. I love that stuff.
Thanks, buddy. Beautiful. Appreciate it. That actually thank work for letting me do that. And I feel like it kind of tapped into something that's always been there that I've never or took the chance on and tried to pursue a little more. And each one's a learning experience. I'm trying to keep getting better at that stuff, and I'm applying that to this card for Sheldon too. I'm going to try and.
I see that. It totally reminded me of it. That's what I think made me think of it. Is it reminds me of that Muha kind of.
Well, yeah, because I don't know, man. There's something about it that just speaks to me, like that style. When I first saw it, I was just like, I couldn't believe. First of all, I thought it was some new comic book artist out, like Alphonse Mucha.
Oh, Mucha, or Alphonse Mucha.
And then I saw, because
he's so adorable.
His illustration work was just so tight, and I'm like, wow, who's this new artist?
Who's this? You're cute.
And then I found out he's from like Art Nouveau era, and I'm like, oh my god, how have I not?
I love those thick outlines and spirally.
If you ever get the chance, Eric, go to Prague. And that's where he's from. Nice. And there's a museum there of his originals. And I spent like 8 hours in it. It's a tiny museum, no bigger than our studio.
Yeah.
But his art, just to see it up front, and also like his pencils for his posters are size as or bigger.
Wow.
Like they're massive. Wow. And truly amazing to see.
Prague, eh?
Yeah.
What's up, Ramon? You don't want me to go to Prague?
You're not a fan of this new guy called Mucha Alfonso.
I was a fan before Eric. And I knew what era he was from.
I'm a fan of you guys. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
No, but truly inspiring to see some of these guys and how they like tackled their shit back then.
No, it was very out of ordinary for I think the time. Like Muha.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm saying Muha because someone told me that's how you say it.
You could be right. Yeah.
I could be wrong too.
It's true.
Yeah,
could be wrong. I could be right.
That's a song.
I mean, it makes sense because it's like Prague and Polish and Czech. Like the languages kind of mix, and Mucha would be appropriate.
Mucha.
Some of my drum machines are from the Czech Republic, or from that's what we call it now.
Oh, I don't know. I just said that's probably old. Czechoslovakia, not Czechoslovakia.
Right? Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Just going back to my old school.
No, I actually meant that was a real question. I've forgotten what the designation was now.
I could be wrong. No, that's in my head.
I could be right.
I have a little. There's a bunch of Matt Den Boer artwork I have. I just couldn't find some of it, but I have this old one, Matt. I don't remember this one.
Oh, show me.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. That's a
wicked
white Stabilo pencil on black like plastic, basically.
Yeah, that's old school. I also have a painting you did. Remember back in Whack Whack days, we're sitting in your room in your apartment, probably high out of our minds, and you're painting.
What are you talking about?
Painting these cool acrylics, and you gave me one, and I can't for the life of me find it. With the move, some stuff I can't remember where I put. So
is it the one with the sort of priest dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was looking for that for hours because I was like, I want the world to see this.
I titled that one "The Fish of Religious Doubt."
Yeah, I cherish that piece. I need to like frame it and hang it in a good spot. What am I doing here, stupid?
I think that was that stuff for me was I was feeling some Mucha vibes when I was trying to do those ones.
Somehow I've messed around my pen here. How did that? Now it's on this screen. For fuck's sake!
You're on a Cintiq there.
Yeah. Why is this now on that screen? Oh! Okay, so don't cut to my screen because
Eric's like, the computer's going against him now.
I went PC for a year and was on a Cintiq all-in-one computer.
Oh, I had one of those.
I hated it. It was awful.
Me too. Yeah,
awful.
Same.
You too, eh?
Oh, I bought the Wacom Studio Pro Portable, and it had like everything in it, and
everything except for working properly.
Yeah, like I loved the machine. Like it itself was an amazing piece of technology. Like I wouldn't call it portable because it was heavy as fuck.
It was heavy as shit.
Like I'm like wow, but it's just the operating system being PC just annoyed the hell out of me.
So I don't know if Windows is always that shitty, but it was very bad for me. I hear from people who like Windows that that's not representative of the experience.
That's still.
But it was just always updating itself. It was like
same, yeah.
Hold a moment. This deadline you have does not matter.
No, yeah, it's like constantly updating, and I also had the touch version.
I did too.
It would just be like my slightest like the what do you call it when it
palm rejection.
Yeah, palm rejection was not working well.
The palm was not being rejected.
It was being accepted along with the pen, and things would I'd be like, oh my god. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I actually sold it and invested.
Did you have to basically give it away? Because I sold mine for peanuts. I feel like I lost so much money on that thing.
No, I almost sold it for full price.
Oh, you lucky guy! I'm very happy for you.
And all the additions, because I got a keyboard for it, I got the stand, I got all this other stuff.
That was actually the one thing I loved about it was I had this origami type stand.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
Yeah, I had that too. Yeah, I love the stand. It was so sexy. I was like, I want to keep the stand just because it's so nice.
The stand was like a piece of art. Honestly.
Yeah, agreed. And but yeah, then I ended up buying a new desktop Wacom that just plugs into my Mac as an extension of my Mac. And one day I'll upgrade my iPad Pro from version 1 to something more current, and use that as my portable.
This is an iPad Pro. It's one of my favorite pieces of technology.
I love the iPad Pro. Yeah. Man. Finally got one. Love it.
It's so good.
I love it. Just like I love Matt.
Aw.
Oh, you guys are adorable.
I gotta visit you or see you soon, buddy. It's been way too. We gotta get proper drunk and have a good old chat.
Can't wait to visit. It'll be so good. I feel like I did something to this corner here at the bottom. Kind of fucked it up. Oh well.
Could be wrong.
Did you ever do any of the geometric work that you do, Matt? Did you ever do any of it physically, before computers, or?
Yeah, no, that's what Eric's talking about. Those paintings, so one of our I guess you call them instructors at Sheridan.
Okay.
He saw me doing these geometric things. This happened to me. This whole starting to draw this way happened in second year college, basically.
Okay.
And so Jerry Zeldin, who's an amazing visual language professor at Sheridan, asked me if I'd ever thought about working in vector, and I was like, "Vec what?" So I was trying to do all this stuff with a brush and acrylic paint,
Damn.
Trying to get straight lines. And he's like, "Yeah, well, there's this software that does straight lines. It just makes it happen."
That's amazing. Did you ever try to use I think it's called a lining pen? I had to do a lot of geometric stuff with paint. And in my program we had, I think I have one right here. Hold on a second.
I definitely used Corel Draw and things like that for a while.
Corel Draw.
Old school.
No.
Macromedia Director.
Yeah, how are we gonna make it work, dude? I gotta see it somehow. I'd like to see it before Christmas. That'd be great.
I would love that.
This is the archaic tools of pre-computer. I think it was called a lining pen. I could be wrong. But to do all the geometry, because I had to do stuff like that, but for different classes. And I don't know if can you see that here on this? It's like a quill. Oh no, it's not focusing there.
Sarah's. So I showed you that. Sorry, Ramon. Sarah just chimed in about my Eric Vedder fan art, which I will show just after you show this.
No. But anyways, this was like a great tool because you had to you filled this gap in here. I don't know if you can really see that.
Oh, you're talking about a physical tool.
Yeah, physical tool. And where is it? I don't know if you can kind of.
Dude, that's so analog.
Yeah. Anyways, it's almost like a tweezers, and you would fill the inside with paint with a brush, and you would like run it across your page to get your perfectly, and you adjust the width of your line with this like dial.
That's so it's interesting that those are exactly the tools that got transmuted into Illustrator.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, right? Actually, hold on a second, where's my camera here? Yeah, it's not really focusing. It's not really focusing on it.
Focusing
I
on
need to
your
bring
face
my hand
really nicely, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyways, the fascinating. I remember like These were like, you think brush was hard.
I see what you're holding up there has that wheel. It has that.
Yeah. So you dial the line width in or out.
Yeah.
And then you just fill the gap with gouache or ink or whatever you're using, and you just be like, you know, and hope to God it didn't go all over your page.
My dad worked. My dad was always a sign guy. He worked in the sign business his whole life, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
And he used to bring home letter set sheets.
Oh yeah.
Right, nice. And the burnishing tools. So he had those sort of offset patterns. I had like pages of letters, things like that. So I used to always mess around with all that stuff, and that feels to me like a real precursor to Illustrator.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff was just they're just translating. Especially if you look at the icons in probably Illustrator, you'll probably see ones that kind of like, what is that based on? You know, and that's probably what it was.
I'm going to show the thing that. So Sarah was mentioning.
You're adorable. I can't wait to get that on a shirt and own all of it.
So Eric,
that's awesome.
It says evil, right? But I thought you've always had this thing, like you and I think share a love of symmetry. Interestingly, like we have
big
a thing
time.
with that.
That's the Muka stuff, right? Like framing.
Yeah, I thought I could do a rendition of the word evil, or like your thing, and have it be hinting at symmetry while also still spelling the word.
Love it.
That's awesome, dude.
Love it.
I have a partially colored version of it in this. I don't know if you guys ever use Affinity Designer. I went. This is when I was transitioning out of the Cintiq Mobile Studio Pro. I got this program because it was what would run on on iPad as a kind of Illustrator clone. And it's actually pretty great. Like for anybody who's looking to do Illustrator stuff but doesn't want to spend, the subscription amount that they call for, this is $25 and it's basically Illustrator and Photoshop together.
Oh wow!
And it's extremely full featured. Like I definitely.
Dude, that looks super. Please.
I'm gonna keep working on it, buddy.
Oh my God, that's fantastic!
I'm gonna get a tattoo of it on my face.
And like.
There's another drawing I did. This is very Mobius inspired.
Oh, nice.
Super Mobius-y.
Love it.
But yeah, this program's quite good. You're able to do a lot of stuff that you can do in Illustrator. Almost everything you can do in Illustrator actually, and you pay once and never again. Yeah. Sorry, Adobe.
Adobe's great, but I feel like a lot of their programs are, what do you call it? They're so old. Like for them to actually make them workable. They'd have to make it not backwards compatible. Like they'd have to I think rewrite the code from the ground up, which they can't do if they want to make things still work. Like the cool thing is I can open up a Photoshop file from like 20 years ago and it'll still open.
Yeah,
on my computer, which
that is cool. Truth be told, I have no complaints. Adobe is my only overhead. And I pretty much make all of my living off of using Adobe stuff, so I can't really complain about. No. I've got like $60 rent,
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the way I look at it. I look at it the same way, and I also look at it. If Adobe's listening, I was like, for all the years I pirated their software when I was out of college when I couldn't afford it. I'd be like, this is me paying them back over the years.
Yeah. Do you remember buying the physical software though?
I never did because I pirated it all.
You criminal!
And then I was lucky at one point. I think an intern of mine who was from Sheridan, they had to buy it. I guess the package when they were there every year as part of their tuition. So she gave me her old. CS, whatever it was at the time, I can't remember, the physical disc set. So that was the only time I actually ever owned a physical copy, and it was given to me by an an intern, But once they went with the online, with the cloud, I started subscribing pretty much right off the bat.
I definitely can understand how someone, starting out would find it fairly steep.
Oh, I mean, when I remember actually going to buy it. I was like, I guess I should go buy this. I'm going to need it. And I went to the local computer store, and I think it was something like $1,500 or $1,800. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, plus you get a bunch of stuff you don't necessarily need.
Yeah, and so I was just like, okay, what's torrents? What are those? Holy fuck. I was just like, no, thank you.
What do you think of the card so far, guys?
Looking good.
Loving it, man. Let me get in close.
I don't know. The colors. I'm just putting down colors for fun right now.
Yeah.
Trying to get some ideas going.
I see what you're going for there with the border. That it's you brought in some of the border action that you had in those.
Yeah, it has a very Arabian kind of feel as well.
That's the idea.
Yeah,
I want it to feel Arabian. So
I like the subtle wolfy face in the hair there.
Yeah,
the panther aspect.
Yeah,
is that a panther sound?
I'm gonna tell you this now, Eric, and you're gonna hate me because I just have to say this because I have to print them later.
Yep.
So remember to draw out another 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch out beyond.
No problem.
Beyond
no problem.
Feel the bleed.
Feel the bleed. Yeah. Feel the bleed.
I can do, brother. I'll get in the Photoshop.
Or just shrink your image off down. What is this again? Oh, this is something.
That's a magic. You guys are always like, "Oh, you did? What's this?" I'm like, "No, I'm just switching." I have a terrible knack of switching when Rob has a camera on me. Yeah, we're at 5 minutes. Wow.
Oh, okay, wow. Yeah. Okay, so time flew.
I'm gonna plug this product then. See this?
Oh yeah.
Is that showing there?
What's going on? Rob's got nothing. Oh, what's going on here?
These are
great.
Honey Dijon. So I'll actually pull them out.
Yeah, pull some out there. Let's see these things.
They are just like poker cards. You can just play cards with them.
Yeah.
And they're just a bunch of. So this collab was fairly open ended. It was supposed to be representative of like the roots of house music essentially. So like it's royalty, but it's like
sweet, man.
It's club royalty. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, but in my mind, these are the sort of like personalities that people embody, on the dance floor.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's about 20 decks left of these things, and then once they're gone, they're gone. This is up till November 16th. They're around.
Shit, nice.
And then they're toast, and I can't even not even allowed to sell them after that.
Oh, really?
That's the deal.
Oh, interesting.
So if you like solitaire or go fish, or
nice.
It's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm totally gonna.
Or just a nice deck of cards. There's some beautiful art cards as well. Like
when I finally do my own art and Kickstarter, I'm gonna need some art from you.
I'm in, man. The card deck thing was Sarah's idea, and I hadn't thought about doing a card deck, but what's really great about cards is that there is a structure to the royalty, and like the way that there are kind of rules about cards, and so when you're designing in that realm, you have to obey certain conventions, or at least if you want to stay true to like what cards are about, which makes it fun. Like
the limitations of the parameters help you create something, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you never showed it. You were showing the fronts, but did you design the back as well?
Yeah, no, I did the whole. So all the cards, it's all in my Etsy shop.
Oh no, I'm gonna take a look. That's cool.
But these, the little, the backer is actually just the same thing as the.
Oh,
the
nice.
Oh,
okay, sweet.
Mama
backer on the
wants
hyperspace
a
guys.
raid.
Oh, there it is.
Collab.
Tarot card deck.
Yeah,
that'd be fun to do. I've
always
wanted
kind
to
of
do one of those.
The Prex cards I'm doing for Warframe. They're kind of based on tarot cards, and they actually printed some out for us. I think I showed them last time.
Do you feel weird about doing tarot cards? I feel like I'm not a superstitious person, but
they weren't tarot cards. I just like that. The framing of it, I guess, and
I'm the kind of person who's like, I'm very logical, but then if you were like, let's do a Ouija board in the dark, I'm like, I don't know.
Ouija board? First of all, I have no business doing any of that stuff. Ouija boards can stay away from me. I don't want to here.
I actually love one of my favorite art pieces was I don't know if you ever saw Dave McKean's tarot card set from back in the 90s. He did like the whole Dream family, like Eternity, Destruction, all that stuff, and they were just beautiful.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about archetypes, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That's a stupid YouTube thing where this guy reads people's bad spelling of Ouija board.
Oh my god!
Board? Oh,
dude, illiterate ghosts.
The pregnant one.
Have you seen I was gonna say the pregnant one. I can't have to pee before I watch that.
Oh my god! I gotta look this up now.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
How do I get my girl Pergononant?
Pergonagon.
Pergante. Oh my god! Just in tears, man. That shit's and same with the Ouija board. Luigi board?
I know. I can't drink while you talk.
Matt, this was we're coming up on 2. We gotta shut her down, and Matt, it was so awesome to see that beautiful face, brother. I can't wait to hug you out. Hug it hard,
his face,
and then a big bunch of drinks in our mouths.
Guys, thank you for having me on.
Oh, real pleasure having you on, dude.
Love seeing you, buddy. Big fan of your work and you as a person always, right? So give my love to Sarah and the crew.
I sure will.
Hopefully see you in person soon.
And thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight. The extended Den Boer family and friends, but also our awesome regulars like Sarah and everybody.
Oh yeah,
Roberto
working
in the back.
Again. Yeah, and maybe a goodbye. Cheers.
Goodbye, right, and everybody keep making shit.
Thanks, everybody. Woo-hoo!
Cheers. Nice, that's fantastic.